right, guys, look out. Here comes the Spider-Man.
Today, guys, we are going to take the angle relationships we've talked about in class and use that to find some missing measurements. The two types of relationships we're going to be working with today are on your page. The first one is complementary, and that is when two angles add together to make 90 degrees, or we said their shape can look like a corner. The second type of angle relationship we spoke of is supplementary. That's when two angles equal 180 degrees, or their shape would make a straight line. On your paper, question 1 should look like this. So the first thing we're going to do is look overall, what type of relationship do we have? Do we have a straight line or do we have a corner? When you look at this shape, it looks like it makes a straight line. So that means the total will be 180. I'm going to take the first angle plus the second angle, and that equals 180 degrees. So I'm going to create an equation that says the first angle, 36 degrees, plus the second angle, which is 3x. Together, those equal the total 180 degrees. So we already did solving equations, so we're going to go back to that and find out how much x should equal. One thing we did when solving equations was we split our equation in half so that it was like a balance beam. And whatever we do to the left side of the equation, we have to do that same thing to the right side to keep it equal and balanced. So the first thing I'm going to do is work backwards, and instead of adding 36 right here, I'm going to subtract 36 from both the left and the right side. Once you subtract the 36, those will cancel out, and all we have left on the left side is 3x, or 3 times a number. And then on the right side, we have to do 180, subtract 36, and that should be 144. When you look at both sides of your equation now, this says 3 times a number is 144. If you don't know what that is, we're going to do the opposite of multiplying, which is divide. So 3 divided by 3. If you don't like the fraction bar, you can write it another way. But 3 divided by 3 gives me 1. So 1x is going to be worth. And since I did divide by 3 on the left side, I need to do divide by 3 on the right side to get my final answer. 144 divided by 3. If you need to work that out, you can. I've already done it, and the answer is 48. So for us, the thing we were trying to solve for was x, and we just found out that x is 48. So on my answer blank, I would write in 48 to say the value of x. Problem 2, we're going to look at the overall shape of this diagram. This one does not make a straight line. If you look at its shape, you should see a perfect corner. And perfect corners are complementary. They make 90 degrees. So just like in the previous example, I'm going to take the first angle, I'm going to add it with the second angle, and that should give me a total of 90. If I put them together as an equation, this is what it would look like. The first angle is 2x, plus the second angle is 20, and together they made that corner, so they should be 90 degrees. We're going to solve this the same way as example 1. I'm going to use this equation to find the value of x. I'm going to split my equation so I have a left and a right side, and then start working backwards. So instead of adding 20, the opposite of that would be subtract 20. I'm still going to do the same thing to the right side so that I keep it balanced. 20 minus 20 should cancel out. and all we have left is 2x, or 2 times a number, on the left side. On the right side, we need to go ahead and subtract 90 minus 20. We get 70. Then the last thing says 2 times a number is 70. Some people might already know that, but if you don't, we're going to do the opposite of times, which is divide. And if you don't like the fraction bar way of showing division, you can write it another way. But then at the end, you're going to say 2 divided by 2 is 1. So 1x is worth 70 divided by 2 is 35. So this would be my final answer. 1x, or x, is worth 35. So on my answer blank, I would write 35. The last problem we're going to do together in this video is question 4. So I'm skipping 3 because 4 has something a little different in it. I'm still going to start out in the same way by looking at what is the overall shape of this figure. When you look at it, it makes a corner. So in the last example, we said a corner equaled 90 degrees. We also said we want to take the first angle and add it with the second angle, and that's how we get our total of 90. So again, I'm going to make an equation using these two angles and then solve to find the value of x. The first little angle is 2x plus 1. Then I'm going to add that to the second angle, which is 33. And then the total we get at the end together should be 90. For solving this equation, I'm still drawing a line to divide a left and a right side. The thing that's different about this equation is I have a plus 1 and I have a plus 33. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put these together and combine them so I don't have to subtract them separately. So when I do that, I still have my two x's, but when I put 1 and 33 together, that gives me 34. So I'm going to say 2x plus 34, and the total of this overall shape up here is still a corner, so I'm still going to have 90 on the end. Now I would just solve this, continuing like we did the last two. Working backwards, the opposite of adding 4 or positive 4 is subtracting 4, or subtracting 34, sorry. Once you do 34 minus 34, those cancel out. I still have my two x's, or 2 times a number. And then when you subtract on the far right, 90 minus 34, that should be 56. And final step, the opposite of multiplying by 2 would be dividing by 2. Again, if you don't like that fraction bar way, you can certainly write it another way. But 2 divided by 2 gives me 1x. So 1x is worth the same thing as 56 divided by 2. And half of 56 is 28. So now I have my final answer. The x value is 28. So I'd write that on my line. So the rest of the problems on your paper is for you guys to try on your own. Remember, never give up, even when it's hard. That little mouse has prepared himself with a helmet so he can steal the cheese. And I know you guys can do it. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll be glad to help you.